In November 2001, a single betting ticket correctly predicted the exact finishing order of 9 horses in Hong Kong's most difficult wager, the Triple Trio. The ticket won a record-breaking jackpot of 118 million Hong Kong dollars, and then nobody claimed it. The owner of that ticket was Bill Benter, a quiet Pittsburgh native. He walked away from the payout because by that point, his personal predictive models had already earned him close to $1 billion. Benter built his fortune in the 1980s using the Hong Kong Jockey Club as his primary testing ground. The scale of this operation was immense. The city's population bet billions of dollars annually, eclipsing the entire United States racing market. In a pari-mutuel system, unlike fixed-odds casino games, gamblers play against each other. Everyone's wagers flow into a massive central pot, and winners split what's inside. But first, the house takes a 17% cut off the top. That commission creates a mathematical barrier. If you rely on luck, losing 17% of the pool on every single race guarantees long-term failure. The house always wins because the math dictates they have to. This mathematical barrier is compounded by a statistical concept called gambler's ruin. It describes what happens when a player with limited funds goes up against an opponent with an unlimited bankroll. This chart shows 2 bankrolls. Even in a fair game of heads or tails, the smaller bankroll eventually hits an inevitable streak of bad luck and drops to 0. The house survives simply because it has enough money to wait out the variance. Benter was facing this exact headwind. He was going up against the massive betting population of Hong Kong, and he had a 17% house disadvantage stacked on top of it. Guessing which horse ran the fastest wouldn't keep him solvent. To survive, Benter had to architect a system capable of consistently identifying bets with a profit margin greater than 17%. Benter started his career in Las Vegas, treating blackjack as an early analog algorithm. He learned to count cards, meticulously tracking variables to find a tiny mathematical edge against the casino. After his success landed him on casino blacklists, Benter and fellow professional gambler Alan Woods relocated to Hong Kong. They wanted to apply their edge-finding methodology to the massive, unregulated pools of the Jockey Club. Inside a university library, Benter discovered an academic paper detailing multinomial logit models. It was a statistical framework designed to predict horse race outcomes. This formula processes specific, quantifiable variables. You input the horse's straight-line speed, the jockey's skill, and the number of rest days. By assigning specific weights to each factor based on their historical impact, the formula outputs a precise mathematical probability of that horse winning. Benter spent 9 months writing code, manually entering thousands of race results to build out this statistical model on early IBM personal computers. He deployed his software in September 1985. By the end of his first racing season, the model's predictions had failed, costing Benter and Woods $120,000. Woods demanded a 90% share of the remaining bankroll to continue. Benter refused. He coded a digital time bomb into the software to shut it down at a specific date and left to rebuild the system from scratch. His first iteration relied purely on basic statistical data, but Benter realized his model lacked the nuance required to account for the chaos and random chance that actually happen on a dirt track. So Benter began obsessively testing new variables. He hired a video analyst to review past races and identify horses that should have won but were physically blocked. This became a qualitative bad luck adjuster, feeding real-world friction into the math. He also needed a solution to gambler's ruin. He found it in the Kelly criterion, a mathematical formula developed by a physicist to dictate precise bet sizing. This graph illustrates the Kelly formula. It plots risk against reward, finding the exact peak to maximize bankroll growth. It dictates wagers based on the mathematical confidence in the edge, minimizing the risk of financial ruin during cold streaks. Benter turned to a dataset hiding in plain sight, the public's odds. His software compared these baseline public expectations against his proprietary predictions, identifying the exact gaps where a horse has a higher chance of winning than the crowd realizes. By combining precise Kelly bet sizing with these public market inefficiencies, Benter extracted an average of $3 million in annual profit. In 1997, the British handed control of Hong Kong back to China. Fearing scandal and public backlash over foreign computer syndicates draining local money, the Jockey Club abruptly suspended Benter's electronic betting terminal. Shut off from digital access, Benter rented a ground-floor hotel room in the North Point district and turned it into a physical command center. He routed his algorithm's predictions directly into laptops, forcing massive 50-pound printers to continuously turn out thousands of physically marked paper betting slips. In the final 8 minutes, teams grabbed the stacks of paper, bolted to an off-track betting shop, and manually fed the public terminals. The underlying math was so robust that Benter maintained his massive profit margins even when forced to rely on this chaotic analog delivery system. In November 2001, Benter decided to subject his algorithm to one final test. He targeted the triple trio, requiring the precise placement of the first, second, and third horses across 3 separate races, a puzzle with over 10 million possible outcomes. He fed the variables into the system and spent $1.6 million spreading wagers across 51,000 algorithmic combinations. The model flawlessly predicted all 9 horses, securing the $118 million jackpot. Benter viewed the win as pure mathematical validation. He left the tickets unclaimed, so the money would be diverted to local charities, and he retired back to Pittsburgh. The team in Happy Valley functioned as a precursor to the modern quantitative hedge fund. By processing massive data sets to find a razor-thin edge in a multi-billion-dollar exchange, Benter modeled the same computational approach that now powers the majority of global